just bring this back.
Okay.
Sure.
This is a road closing bylaw. It's a matter that's been before council on a number of occasions. It's a 0.3 hectare site, which is a portion of a county road allowance that has already been zoned, and a development permit has been issued. But because it's not a separate parcel of land, it's still a portion of the road allowance, we do need, or the municipality does need to actually stop up and close that portion of the road so that it can be registered as a separate parcel of land. And it's intended that that parcel of land be the site for the satellite fire hall site that is underway in the process. So with this, if council reads this bylaw, gives it first, second, and third reading today, the legislative requirement is that it be given notice twice in the newspaper, and at the next council meeting after notice, you hear from anyone from the public who would wish to speak to it. And following that, you can give it final adoption, and it can be registered, and it will be a separate parcel of land in the name of the municipality on which you will be able to get a permit for the construction of the satellite fire hall. So I would recommend that you give it 3 readings today and provide the suitable notice.
This is basically a bit of housekeeping that might have happened prior to this and before the actual rezoning application. So this is a no-brainer at this point in time.
I'm your new housekeeper. Interim.
I'll make a motion, but one question. So we're going to end up with a piece of the road turning into a separate legal lot, so there'll be a subdivision process, or does that's all? This just creates a separate legal lot, basically?
No subdivision is required whatsoever. It just requires registration of the bylaw and the survey.
Okay, so once this is passed, then we can go ahead and the road access is still there, but in a smaller format. So I would move that Bowen Island Municipality Road Closure Bylaw number 326, 2012 be read a first, second, and third time, and the public notice of the proposed road closure be provided pursuant to section 94. Oh, hang on. I'm doing this backwards, because there was 2 tiny changes to be made to the bylaw.
That's correct. These are minor changes that Councillor Morris has pointed out. We're missing the legal description on the second whereas, as well as it should say number 5 should say the mayor and corporate officer rather than the clerk. But
so do I need to say as amended when I amend the resolution then?
Do you have the?
It's 106 at the bottom.
I would say just be safe.
So that will be in.
We'll assume it's been amended to insert the number.
Correct.
Yeah.
And clerk will be changed to corporate officer. So I would move the Bowen Island Municipality Road Closure Bylaw number 326, 2012 as amended be read a first, second, and third time. And the public notice of the proposed road closure be provided pursuant to section 9 of the community charter, and then an opportunity for public input be provided at a future council meeting.
Second.
Second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Question? All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Our next item of business is adoption of the Blue Water Park and King Edward Bay Water Systems Rate Bylaw number 323, 2012, and the Bowen Bay Water System Rates Bylaw 324, 2012. As you'll remember, these bylaws, which are effectively for over-usage, were given 3 readings at the June 11th meeting. I'm just wondering if there's any questions of council members or before we move into adoption. Then I would suggest the first recommendation is that bylaw number 323, 2012, cited as BIM Blue Water Park and King Edward Bay Water Systems Rate Bylaw number 233, 2008, amendment bylaw number 323, 2012 be reconsidered and finally adopted.
Also moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
And for the second bylaw, it is that bylaw number 324, 2012, cited as Bowen Municipality. Bowen Bay Water System Rates bylaw number 118, 2004, amendment bylaw number 324, 2012, be reconsidered and finally adopted.
Also moved.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Question, all those in favor? Thank you.
Okay, our next item of business is a report from Jill Lee, Bylaw Services Officer for a noise exemption to be held at 810 Beach Drive, Bowen Island Golf Course between June 16, 2012 at 6 p.m. and June 17, 2012 at 12 a.m. And the recommendation is that council approve the application made by Spencer Grundy for an exemption to the noise control bylaw for a wedding to be held at 810 Beach Drive, Bowen Island Golf Course between 6 p.m. June 16th and June 17th at 12 a.m. And just to notice, one of our former employees, Krista Peel, getting married.
Oh, it's Christian. Oh, isn't that lovely? Great.
She's come all the way up from Manitoba to get married.
Is she, where in Manitoba? Is it like Winnipeg or?
No, it's some little community north of Winnipeg.
Do we need motion?
We do, yes.
Okay. Continue with Tim, thank you.
I'll second that.
Allison, thank you very much. Any further discussion?
Do we have to excuse those?
No.
No, I don't think so. I noticed there's one person,
Are you yes?
there's one household
Yes.
one household who objected, but from what I understand, these people are actually going to be away during that
No,
time.
that's a no, that's going
Yeah, anyway, I think it's wonderful. It's great.
It's a great use of the,
So we can go sit on your deck and listen to the music then?
Yeah, party too.
party on.
amplified to the southwest, I understand.
No.
Just over some, there are some houses out there.
Well, how about just directly to the side?
Yeah. And we will be there already.
It's the easy part. They still have to get by the weather.
Question, all those in favor? Thank you.
Yeah, I would ask that council receive for information the items as outlined in section 9 of the June 11, 2012 regular council agenda. And what they are minutes of the Solid Waste and Resource Management Advisory Committee meetings held May 17th and May 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Question, all those in favor? Thank you.
And under new business, we have our new line item, disclosure of contracts pursuant to section 107 of the community charter. These are contracts that councillors have with the municipality. And for this period, we do not have any. Our recommendation, item number 10.2 is moving to a closed meeting. The council moved to a closed meeting to review items pursuant to section 91. A, C, and K of the community charter immediately adjournment of the regular meeting.
Before that happens, can I just make a comment or?
Yeah, we could pass this resolution when we're still in open meeting after that.
Okay,
So moved.
Second.
all those in favor?
And I had a brief comment.
Oh, you go first.
Tony Law is the chair of the group that represents all the ferry advisory committees with BC Ferries, the province, and the BC Ferry Commissioner. And he's written an excellent article which he sent around to all the ferry advisory committees on the weekend, but it's also published on the Islands Trust website because it's what it is his report to, he's the Islands trustee for Hornby, and it's his report to the trust on council meeting on the whole consultation process that's going to be going forward with BC Ferries and a bit more information that we've managed to glean at that point about the process. So I can send everybody the link to the Islands Trust website, or we can get you copies of it. It's a good primer on everything that's going on, so it might be useful to put it as an information item on our next agenda. And the province is issuing a request for proposal for a consultant to go through the consultation process with the communities, and we haven't seen that yet. Hopefully we'll see that in the next week or so.
Thank you.
Allison, if you could send a link around this afternoon, that would be helpful. Will we have
It's in your
Oh.
package.
Okay.
And then the other, I just wanted to talk about Kitts Island Coast Guard base closure.
Oh, hang on. I forgot one thing. On this, in here, he makes some comment about the LNG, and under operational efficiencies, and Tony's suggesting that the use of LNG would be better if it had landline, but it's not. That's not what they're proposing for Horseshoe Bay to be trucked in. I just wanted to clarify that one.
So getting back for just a moment to the Kitts Island Coast Guard base closure, I really do think we should be writing a letter as a municipality saying that we're against the closure for safety reasons, if for no other reason than for safety. I cannot see how having a Coast Guard station somewhere in Richmond is going to have any effect on safety here around our island and the waters between our island and the city. And I think it's really important that we let it be known to the federal government that this is another decision that I feel is totally against normal understanding of the safety concerns on the water.
I shouldn't speak for council, but I'm pretty sure that most of us around the table, if not all, agree with you along with every single islander, Bowen Islander, about this issue. It's just shows a complete lack of understanding of how this region operates.
There's been no explanation except for cost cutting.
I agree, but I should also point out that 98% of all Coast Guard responses to Bowen Island are from Sea Island.
Sorry, from where?
Are from Sea Island. In other words, if there is a response required and so forth, generally speaking, there's a hovercraft dispatch before they would actually send a boat out from Kitts Coast Guard base, because it takes 40 minutes to get here from Kitts Coast Guard base. It takes 20 from Sea Island. So, but I agree. The closing of Kitts Island base is
It's a safety concern.
Is ridiculous with all the boats in this way.
Yeah, I can just, a quick resolution would be that staff be directed to write to the federal government opposing the closure of the Kitts Island Coast Guard base due to safety reasons.
Okay.
And asking to provide
Reasons.
the logic behind their decision.
Well, there's no logic.
Yeah.
Reasons.
Reasons, yeah.
Do we need a vote on it?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So you moved and seconded.
Sean,
Yeah.
okay, I'll move it in second. Thank you. Any further discussion? Question? All those in favor? Thank you.
And that council received for information the items as outlined in section 11 of the June 11, 2012 regular council agenda. These are the information items as listed.
Second.
Thank you. Does anybody have any further discussion on these items? No? Council?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I had it.
Okay, you're ahead of me. Question, all those in favor? Thank you.
That's it for the agenda.
Just a little information piece. On September 11th, 12th, and 13th, 3 months from now, the Islands Trust Council meeting is going to be on Bowen Island. And they've asked to have dinner with council on Wednesday, September 12th. So I was hoping that that's good for everyone in their calendars, if we could make a note of that. And during the lunchtime on Wednesday, there's going to be some stuff relating to oil spill response down in Ronde's Marina. And there are going to be some boats that are going to roll in as examples of vehicles that will be used in an oil spill response, and it'll be a chance for you to meet all of the Islands trustees and so on. There's also at between 2 and 3 p.m. a joint session between Bowen Municipal Council and Islands Trust
It goes
Council.
on after, doesn't it?
Sorry, yeah, you're right, Allison. It does. So it goes from 2 until 4:30 on Wednesday afternoon. So,
Sorry, what dates?
so the big day for council with Islands Trust is Wednesday, September 12th. The official part starts at 2 and ends at 4:30. If you're so inclined to come down at lunchtime, into the cove you can for the oil spill response stuff, and then there's dinner with the Islands Trust in the evening.
So when they're here between the 12th and the
11th and the 13th is when everyone will be here.
Noon on the 11th to noon on the 13th, basically.
Yeah, so essentially what happens is every 3 months Islands Trust has their big federation meetings for, it's a 3-day stint, and the sessions start typically on a Tuesday around 10 or 12 in the morning, and then they continue on until Thursday afternoon. And this next session is going to be on Bowen, and it would be great if council could avail themselves on Wednesday afternoon.
You know, we really have to think about the Islands Trust vis-a-vis Metro Vancouver. I mean, we're torn between two regional districts, so to say. And we really have to think about it. I mean, I know that they're doing good work and all the rest of it, but what's it doing for us? So anyway,
It's a good time to come and discuss all of that.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But they should know that we are.
Well, they do know. I think I mentioned it the last time we talked about this, that Islands Trust has put almost near the top of their work plan to deal with the issue of service delivery to Bowen Island. And it's part of this session. So,
It was in their strategic plan stuff that they sent around asking for comments.
Okay.
What, the other thing you might want to mark off is that there's training sessions, like there's a planning session on, what's it called, for the Tuesday morning, best practices in public engagement, which might be interesting, and one called refresher on standards of conduct and administrative fairness.
I'll send around the agenda to all the councillors, and anyone's welcome to attend, and they're absolutely fascinating. The meetings are super well run, and
So on September 11th, is that run by public forums?
No.
Councillor?
Maybe it would be good to use the next 3 months to prepare for the meeting in September with the trust. I think there is an awareness that what Bowen Island pays is out of line. Not only what we receive in return, but what the original intent of this, whatever percentage was.
Yeah.
Everybody, and Alison and I, we had a meeting with the finance group, and the figures are all very transparent, and obviously we pay according to what we had agreed before we became a corporation. That's what we had agreed, so it's correct. However, I think there is no doubt that they would agree today that time went on and the actual amount is completely out of whack. The only way to change this is actually to work towards what is it?
We got to change the legislation.
yeah.
Yes, which is no big deal. Because, well, the tax, sure, it's a big deal, but politically we'll not run into too many problems because the impact for the rest of the island is minimal. It's hardly, it's measurable, but it's negligible. So now, what does it take to actually work towards such a change in legislation?
And that's the difficult part.
Yes. And I can't see the Islands Trust not being really wild to push this,
No.
but we should.
Well, we should talk to our MLA, Joan, and and see if we can do something. It's, you know, it's very difficult, because I know that, at Translink, they've been trying to change some of the legislation dealing with governance and finances and so on and so forth, and adding people and whatever to the board. And you know, we've had meetings with what's his name, Blair Lexstrom, and you know, the ministers listen to us, but the stuff that comes back, the proposed legislation, is never quite on point. It's just like there's a disconnect to you know, traveling from Burnaby to Victoria. It is very strange. So we'd have to be really particular, and we'd have to tell Joan that this is what we want, and there's no ifs, buts, or maybes, and get somebody to properly draft what it is that we're trying to do. You know?
We have to spoon feed them.
Yeah, exactly.
But even if it takes 1 or 2 or 3 terms, the financial benefit, if we will ever succeed, or next council succeeds, is quite huge.
Okay, that's good to know.
Because, yeah. I mean, if we cut out even $100,000, which would bring us back to the original financial contribution.
Yeah.
That's 3%.
Yeah. Well, that's a big deal.
And if we would do nothing else during this term, just to work diligently and stubbornly and persistently towards that, and trying to work something out with Translink, I tell you, we will have left a legacy bigger than noise control bylaws.
But thanks for bringing that up.
It's just how do we do it? I mean, physically, who has the expertise to do that? And probably somebody has.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I think it's
I'm
really
not suggesting
an important
that it's the CEO, but somebody should.
I think it's really important. I think
If it is something, you know, council wishes to pursue, the first step, I think, would be contacting our local government representative within the provincial government.
Yeah.
We have a advisory officer who would lay out necessary steps.
Yeah, that's an idea. Let's do that.
And we have an election next spring, so maybe we have to start lobbying late fall already, yes?
It took, I think, 3 years to get a very small change through in one of their miscellaneous statute bills for not something that was absolutely not contentious at all.
Yeah.
And that was an error they'd made in drafting the legislation in the first place. So
we have to start.
For the Allen's Trust.
I mean,
and so
I have no illusion about what it takes, but even if it takes 6 years, if the 6 years start next month, it's different than if it started in 2 years from now.
I agree.
Just.
But let's move on to our closed meeting.
Yes.
I'll look into what the process would be.